We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fantasy. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Changeling, where I hear a second doppelganger, which is Drayson. Here we go. What are you gonna ask me this time? You're not even trying now, are you? Very Drayson just chuckled in response. You're not getting past me. Not until you play the game. Ugh. Fairies and their games. We were scared and worried about finding people we loved. And they were playing games like none of it mattered at all. I really wanted to just throttle him with his own stupid hair. It should be a breeze, little lost changeling after all. You love words, don't you? Don't act like you know anything about me, and stop calling me that. I have a name. Very well, little me Chico. You answer my questions if you want to pass, won't you? How do you know my name? My fingers curled into fists at the sound of him using my name. I almost regretted mentioning it. I already hated how familiar they all acted by calling me Little Changeling, as if they all knew exactly who I was. Hearing him use my name was even worse. They may have held onto my body for nearly a decade, which was super creepy to think about, thank you very much, but they didn't know me or anything about me. Nothing at all. Don't get so wound up, little me Chico. This one should be easy as pie for someone like you. Then again, the best pies aren't really all that easy to make, are they? Just get on with it. A white-horned beast, noble and true, a feline king, brave through and through, battles and bouts both inside and around, and yet thrice again battle all through town. Tell me, what were these two fighting for? A white-horned beast and a feline king. Drayson had been walking a few steps behind me. He sidled alongside me and took my hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. Leave this to me, okay? He gave me a disarming smile as he cautiously approached a fairy copy. I hope that maybe because unicorns had good relations with the Fae, it would be okay this time. But Drayson didn't answer the riddle or anything. He just raised his arm above his head, and the fairy did the same. Drayson jumped to the side, and the fairy did the same. Wait, is he just gonna like walk away, and that guy's gonna also walk away? Drayson reached up and poked the copy in the nose, and the fairy did the same. Guys, can we focus here? Oh, sorry, it's just kind of weird, like one of those funhouse mirrors where you turn all around, turn all twisted and ugly when you look in it. At least when it's softly next to me, especially at the incredibly annoyed look on the fairy's face. I don't think Drayson even realized he just insulted the poor thing, which kind of did make it funnier. Still though, we really didn't have time for this. Can I hear the riddle again? Come on, it's not that hard, you can work it out, surely. Aren't you meant to be terribly smart? Yeah, right. If he thought it was going to be easy, he wouldn't give it to me. These riddles weren't just for show. They were obviously trying to slow us down or thwart us all together. On top of that, I had to be careful here. The last time Danny had to stay behind. We couldn't afford to leave anyone else behind. But we had to answer the riddle to move forward. These jerks. I bit my lip and thought about his stupid riddle. A white-horned beast was obviously a unicorn. A feline king. A lion. If that was the case, I had to be fighting for... white, red, and brown. What the fuck? I'm assuming the crown to stay like the king of the charts, the crown. I was really lucky I was a literature buff and that I had liked Alice in Wonderland, because after I repeated the rhyme to myself a couple times, I was pretty sure I had the right answer. The lion and the unicorn were fighting for the crown. No. I watched triumphantly as his face screwed up and he stomped his foot. I mean, because I believe it's the crown, because lions are usually the top chart. They're the top, I don't know why they're the top animal, but they're the king, you know, which I still don't understand why, but the lion does fit kingliness. Who's the queen then? Who's the queen of the animal charts? I don't know. I watched triumphantly as his face screwed up and he stomped his foot. Classic tantrum behavior. I definitely gotten it right. Yes. Arms crossed, the fake Drayson glared at me, his mouth set in a decided pout. No, that's not fair. Yeah, welcome to my world. Come on, if it was right, let us through. That's what you promised. Drayson Fairy narrowed his eyes, glaring at us. Don't get full of yourself because you made it this far. The rest of you can pass, but this one has to stay behind. Ugh, damn it. Well, we expected that, so it's fine. You go on ahead. Don't worry about me. I need you to go and get my best friend back, okay? Please? I squeezed his hand and nodded, not trusting my voice. I didn't want to have to leave anyone else behind in this place. We already lost Danny and now Drayson. Were they just going to whittle us down, divide and conquer? But I didn't know what else to do. We had to keep going if we wanted to find Ewan and Spencer. Go, please. I swallowed hard as Jason Fair raised a hand and waved it at the shadow wall. It melted away as simply as the previous wall. I cast Jason one last look as I started forward. He just smiled slightly and raised his hand in a little wave. The list of people depending on us to save them was growing. I really hope this turned out okay. Ooh, where the hell am I? This time I felt like we covered more ground, like we were able to walk for quite a while without being accosted again. I wasn't even sure when the trees gave way to cavernous tunnels. My mind was so occupied with the stupid riddles and challenges, and trying to work out what the fairies were plotting. I couldn't help but feel the longer we took to pass each test, the less time we had to rescue Ewan and Spencer, even though no one had really said there was a time limit. Time. I stopped walking, putting a hand to my lips thoughtfully. Michiko, what's wrong? Does anyone have their phone still? I have mine. What time is it? Just a moment. She pulled out her phone and checked, and her eyes went really wide. Oh dear. What time is it, Shelly? It's nearly 3 in the morning. What? That's impossible. We just got here and it's still really early when we went through the gate. When fairies are involved, time doesn't always seem to flow the same way, probably even more so since we're on their turf. I hadn't thought about it until just now, though. I thought she was going to tell me it's been 3 days later, and I was like, what the fuck? How come our phones still register the right time then? Assuming they do, I'd imagine fey magic and technology just aren't that compatible. This changes things. Who even knew what was happening in the real world while we were down here? I hadn't given much thought to what would happen when Mom and Dad got home to find Spencer and I gone and not answering our phones. Now we'd been missing for hours, and not just the two of us. We dragged others into this as well. We'll have to try to move faster. I hadn't really given much thought to how long this rescue would take, but I definitely hadn't considered something like time passing more quickly on the outside. And even if I wanted to move faster, we were kind of at the mercy of the Fae here. I didn't know if they were listening in on our conversations, or if it was just coincidence. We'd barely gone 20 feet before we staggered to a stop as our path was cut off again. There was the stupid walls of shadows, and another stupid fairy waltzing out of it like a freaking comic book villain. Oh, Shelly this time. Well, that's awkward. It's kind of pretty. Like, pretty. I mean, they're both pretty. I mean, everyone's been really handsome and pretty. I glanced back at her. She was watching the fairy a little timidly. They were really going to just cycle through all my friends, weren't they? I cannot let you by. You must answer my question to continue on. She's like hesitating. I'm so sorry. Wait, what? Oh, are you a nice one? Are there nice fairies? I raised an eyebrows at it, seeming uncertainty. It seemed like it was reading from a book of villain cliches and the others. Actually, its entire demeanor was different. Maybe this one could be reasoned with. Can't you just let us go through? Is there really a need for this riddle nonsense? The fairy shook its head fiercely, pale eyes darting around. I'm sorry, I can't do that. You've trespassed into our territory. We can't just let you wander around. I trespassed because you took my brother away. I'm sorry, but this is the way it has to be. I bit back an angry response to that. Arguing was definitely not going to get us anywhere. Fine, just ask it. She glanced over her shoulder again and leaned closer as she dropped her voice to a whisper. I tried to pick an easy one. Huh? Was she implying she was trying to help us? She really was different from the others. It was almost funny. It seemed almost fitting that the fairy doing her best to mimic a bit slightly creepy Shelly was also, well, sort of nice. Maybe they aren't all horrible. The fairy took a deep breath and appeared to be doing her very best to look intimidating. It was weirdly adorable. Double, toil and trouble. What goes in this charm full of powerful trouble? What? Shelley's doppelganger was right. I knew this one. It was a line from Macbeth, a pretty famous one. She definitely chose something easy. But before I could answer, Shelley stepped forward, setting a hand on my arm. I know this one. And so do I. And I mean, she glanced at the fairy in front of us. I can't help but feel this riddle is meant specifically for me, so let me answer it. Meant for her, because the fairy was mimicking her. Maybe she was right. I didn't even know anymore. I hesitantly stepped back and allowed Shelley to address the fairy instead. Fillet of a fenny snake, and the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toil of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard legs and howlet's wing. The fairy looked surprised, surprisingly relieved. You've gotten all right, but I'm sorry for this. I have to ask you to stay with me. I knew it. I know. Human child, know that there are some among us who hope to see you succeed this time. Why? I thought you all. She smiled slightly and reached for me. I flinched away, but she gently caught my chin and tucked my hair behind my ear. We've watched you all your life, you know? Whether here, whether there, we watched. It would be strange if there wasn't even one of us who hadn't come to care. And besides, that young Faye is his son. Many of us don't wish to see bad things happen to him. She's talking about Ewan and Logan. Who's Logan? Who's Logan? Is that the dad? Was that the dad's name? I don't even remember anymore. Interesting. So Logan still had supporters here too. Okay, Logan is probably the dad. Well, thanks, I guess. I will keep your friends safe. You have my promise. I opened my mouth to argue further, but Shelly shook her head. I'll be okay, Michiko. Just focus on the task ahead. How could I do that when they're keeping my friends captive? Next is Allie, bro. It was Allie that pulled me away. I cast one last regretful look at Shelly, who stood beside her fairy clone. The stakes were higher than ever now. I mean, Shelly has a nice fairy with her, so I mean, they could talk about stuff, I don't know. But I had to go on. Even so, but in a little bit mood over what had just happened. I felt like we were doing okay, but we hadn't rescued anyone yet. The opposite. We lost friends along the way so far, but we were passing through the riddles without issue. We hadn't failed yet, so there was hope. As long as we got to the end of this soon. I shot Allie a curious glance. She looked as worried as I felt. We couldn't keep playing by their rules. We had to find a way to turn the tables on them and outsmart them, beat them at their own game. But how? Yeah, we can't really do that when we're in their turf. At least we knew now that some of the fairies were rooting for us. I mean, it would have been nice if they just stepped up and put a stop to this whole ludicrous mess. But fairies and their obsessions with rules and riddles, I guess it wouldn't be in their nature anyway. Or maybe there was some law preventing it, who even knew? For now, I was going to have to just focus on what lay ahead. I just wished there were some sign of civilization, or something, not just endless trees followed by endless cavern. Well, not totally endless. There were those weird white trees ahead, but I didn't know we'd find anything in there either. Heck, I didn't even know if it was real or any of this or any of the rest of it either. This whole thing could just be fairy glamour, couldn't it? This place is kind of weird, isn't it? I'll say. I was thinking how those trees up ahead don't seem to be getting any closer. Did you notice that? Yeah, now that you mention it. But then again, I was just sitting here wondering how much of this is even real. I mean, you know, it's not like fairies aren't known for creating whatever kind of illusions they want. That's true. With fairy magic, we could be walking through a swamp full of snakes I never know. Well, that's comforting. This time I felt like we hadn't gone far at all before there was an eerie hissing giggle. What was that? First guess this is another annoying fairy with a stupid riddle for us. And there was a shadow wall thing, knitting together in front of us and blocking the way. It was gonna be more annoying than frightening, to be honest. Totally honest. Can't we just get all the remaining riddles out of the way at once? Because this stop and go madness is gonna make me have a psychotic episode in a minute. I'm just saying. Another fairy began to materialize from the shadow, speaking in a hollow voice. You cannot pass this route without a fee. A fee? Yes, we know the drill. You must answer these questions 3. What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow and all that? Can you spare us the theatrics and get on with it? Is that Ewan? Faye? Excuse me? Is that Ewan's Faye? Doppelganger? Excuse me? The fairy looked affronted as I snapped at it, glared at me with a familiar pale face, and I wasn't even surprised anymore. Elliot? Oh, that's Elliot? Sorry, I get confused. Wait, but I was supposed to see my friend here. This is confusing. Let me scoot up. At first I thought it was Ewan. I'm so sorry. It's Elliot. Apparently I don't know what my husband looks like anymore. I've been down here for too long. Elliot, of course. Well, weird fairy Elliot anyway. I looked him up and down disdainfully. I like the real one better. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, the hair is nice, but that outfit... Yeah, way too edgy. Not sure about those horns either. Without the purple hair, it really just isn't Elliot. Definitely not. Are you two quite finished? I will make it easy for you if you're going to be rude, little changeling. I'm going to seriously scream if they keep calling me that. I doubt you have made it easy anyway. You don't exactly seem like you're on our side. Very well, answer this one if you can. Oh, fuck. You gave me a paragraph. With magic sprung from hecates, herbs sealed in quills of gazing birds, weaving fate and giving life, healing sickness or bringing strife. On grass our moose swabs gently blow, and our use staunch crimson flow. Gossamer hung on fairy gloom, what creature lurks within the gloom? Moose webs. Was that a thing? I shot Ellie a word glance. She shrugged, clearly as confused as I was, because moose webs? Wasn't sure what a gazling was either. Weaving fate, hecates, herbs? That was so confusing. Fuck. There are so many parts to that poem that seem to point to different things. Quills, a gizling, birds. I didn't know what a gizling or geese was, but I did know that ravens were often associated with magic and destiny, and they were birds. Alright, but anyway, this is where we're going to stop. Oh, Arya's falling asleep. This is where we're going to stop for today. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I was not expecting to see Elliot doppelganger because we didn't have Elliot, but this is a great turn of events. I thought it was Ewan's doppelganger for some freaking reason. I'm sorry. Sorry, Elliot. I completely forgot, apparently, what you look like. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
touch it,